Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Here we are in the Psychology of Eating podcast, and I'm with Francesca today. Welcome, Francesca.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we're doing this. And the whole idea is you and I don't know each other, and we're going to spend 45 minutes to an hour and see if we can further the action for you. And if you could wave your magic wand and if you could get whatever you want with food and body, what would that be for you?
Look, I think that word is always that freedom, the stopping of thinking about food, the ability to just say, no, I've had enough, thank you, and move on, instead of thinking, oh, there's still some left, I want more, and it's always playing. I just want that to go away. Just stop.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could just remove it like it was a little splinter in your foot or something like that? Like, oh, it's gone.
Totally.
Where are you from, Francesca?
I'm in Brisbane at the moment. Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. And parents are Italian, but I was born in North Queensland. So from Sicilian heritage.
Wow, what an interesting move.
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah, no.
So how long has it been that you've noticed that you have not had freedom when it comes to food?
Look, I think probably way back when I was a young kid, about 9, 10. Actually, I used to steal food from the teacher's canteen, from the teacher's lunchroom, and that was something, probably because I came from, ethnic people who they didn't really send you to school with a lunch wrapped like, other kids. And so I didn't go to school with food. And so when I was putting on morning tea duties just to get cups ready and stuff, I would sneak the teacher's food. So, yeah, not proud of that. Well, I've never actually talked about that with anybody.
Well, it'll be our secret, and I'm sure it's forgiven. Whoever would need to forgive that or want to forgive that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because there's a certain compelling nature to stolen food, to stolen sweets, to stolen pleasure. There's something, the criminal part of it is oddly exciting.
Yeah. What is that?
What is that? I think it's part of human nature. There's actually an old saying that goes back, I think, to the late 1700s. I forget who said it, but it was stolen sweets are best. But I don't know how important that is for you, but we're going to find out, I bet. So these days, what does not feeling free with food look like on a day-to-day basis? Like how does that actually show up for you?
Okay, so it's not so it's not a freedom day, right? Okay, so it starts with breakfast, and I don't know really what I want, but I've got to have something because I'm on medications. So I just stick to a very normal, just, crackers, cheese, whatever, and a bit of tomato, whatever. Then I'm okay till midday, 1 o'clock. And then it starts going, well, I want to go somewhere. I want to have something. I don't want to be home. It's self-nurturing to me. And this is where I'm kind of learning now, is to start prepping and making things and make sure that I have things in the place so that I don't kind of skip, don't have it. And then I'm famished, and then it's everything. And yeah, and it's just, and then the cycle starts, you're guilty. Yeah, just everything. And they, well, I'll stuff that up. And, how many times I've started Weight Watchers and counting things and doing this and doing that. And then, so it's just a big yo-yo, and it's not freedom. We're always fighting it.
Yeah.
Always.
So Can I assume that a lot of the not feeling free with food is connected to that you want to lose weight and you're trying to eat in a certain way so you can have a different weight? Is that true for you?
Yes, and then that brings in the thoughts that I can't do this, it's never going to happen for me. But I was not overweight, all my life. But as a young child, I felt fat.
Mm-hmm. And when you say as a young child you felt fat, describe to me that feeling.
Probably because there was one day there my father called me a bulldozer. I was chasing little chickens, and they all went everywhere, and one went under my foot, and I kind of squashed it, but it kind of didn't die. But anyway, it was all good. But my father, hit me around the head and just said, "Oh, you're a bulldozer," and and that. So I think that's where I kind of picked that up, because that keeps coming back to me all the time. But I know better than that. But I somehow have grown into that. See, like now when I walk, because I'm, carrying good weight here, and, and I'll try to get through things and whatever, and there it is. There's your bulldozer,
Mm-hmm. How much weight do you want to lose?
Well, we're in kilos here. So, look, hey, I've lost 30 kilos. Got real scared with that, but I would like to at least 50 kilos, so. But and I did, with Weight Watchers, I did get to under the 140, like I hover between 150 and 160 kilos, so I'm a fantastic maintainer. I'm just fabulous, but I just can't move that needle. But once I got it down to the 139, under the 140, I had my sister who was there, oh, fabulous, she sent me flowers, the Weight Watchers group there took a photo and everything, and don't know what happened. I don't know. The motivation just dropped, just everything. And that's my big dilemma,
I want to make sure I understand this. If you could say in 2 sentences or less, you just said, that's my big dilemma. Sum it up in 2 sentences. My big dilemma is
that when I try to put into action what I want to do, I somehow or other turn around and just go full the other side. So that's my dilemma.
Yes, understood. So you could lose a bunch of weight, but then the habits that got you there, you stop doing them and you can go in the opposite direction.
Yes, and the habits that got me there also I fight within myself because it's restriction, it's, it's, what are you saying? It's like you're being told what to do. So my father, again, was very, very, I had an arranged marriage, so I never thought for myself. I did what you did, and it's now in the last 10 to 15, 20 years that once my kids have all grown up, that I've left alone with me and thinking, who am I? How did I get here? So, and now when I need to do something, whether I go with a naturopath or a Weight Watchers, it's like, again, don't tell me what to do. So it's like I've found my voice, but I go back.
Yes.
So I don't know. Well,
that's that's upsetting and it's frustrating for you. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it because you have all the best intentions and your heart is in the right place and you get an A+ for effort.
Yeah.
But there's this other part of you that just does the opposite of what you want to do.
Yeah. And, I heard it all before on your podcast, I know what to do, but do I do it? And if I do it, then I think, oh, it's restriction. It's, you've got to do this, and no, I can never keep it up. If I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to have to be like this forever. And if just all crazy's up in there. And then before you know it, I've gone through, half a packet of chocolates or biscuits or something. And, so, yeah.
Francesca, can I ask how old you are?
Me, I'm 64.
What a great age. Are you still married?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good for me, and I know in a way, I can't fix him. And I can't make him do what I would like from him or whatever. He's not able, and I've come to a place where I know he's not able to give me what I need. And my beautiful son the other day said to me, says, Mum, you've not had support from Dad for the last, 30, 40 years. So why do you think you're going to get it now? And I thought, yeah, that's right, Mm-hmm. So part of me still thinks, oh, yeah, but I can't make him. He's in a different world. He's got his own mindset, and, and he's a great man. He's a great man. And, I have quite a, good freedom but in what I do. But, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I am still married.
Mm-hmm. And are your parents still alive?
Well, my mum died at birth with me. So I lost her, hence my name is Francesca, is her name. They'd said that it was off. I hear people say that, they didn't think there was going to be a live baby, and that's, So anyway, so I went to orphanage for 6-7 years, and then my father remarried. And the stepmother, she's been wonderful. She's still alive. She's 94 now. And she's her mind's going a little bit, but she's such an inspiration. My father died about 25 years ago. He turned into alcohol at the end. And, so definitely very, very verbally and physically and, abused way from 8, 6, 7 years old, So.
Francesca, you have not had the easiest beginning to life.
No, I know that, I do. I know that. And I just, I don't want to be a victim. And I'm most grateful that I never took out my frustrations on my children, because I have 3 beautiful children, and I've always been open to help, because I had a very triangle third child. If he was the first child, I would not have had any more, but he was the one who put me on my journey, because I really had to work out, I had 2 and they were blissful, and this one here is just, he wouldn't get dressed to go to school, just all the way up to teenager. But he's now 34, and always very remorseful. He says, oh gosh, Mum, I'm sorry for what I put you through. But for me, it was my journey. It was my journey. I am forever grateful, and that I never belted them. If anything that I did, I went the other way. Mm-hmm. I didn't take frustrations out. I bottled it, or I kept it out in here. And I think that's where starting Weight Watch is very funny, because when I first started Weight Watch about 4 or 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and I remember struggling big time the first 2 or 3 weeks about journaling my food. And I was very, very acutely aware that I was losing a friend, and food was my friend. Mm-hmm. And that's, and I think that's where food's always there. It's reliable, it tastes good, you can have more, it's just always there. And that's where I'm finding is that I'm afraid of losing my friend.
Yes. That's very helpful. That's good information for me. So the son that was a challenge for you, Sounds like you guys have a good relationship now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you can sum up in 1, 2, or 3 words, what was it about him that was such a challenge? He was
Defiant.
Okay. I like that word.
Yeah, he was like me, rebellious. Whereas I wanted to be rebellious, but I couldn't with my father. You know, if I did anything or whatever, I got more. Or if I cried when he belted me, I got even more. You know, what are you crying for? You need more, you know, and whatever. It was just, yeah. So, you know, he had like a hose doubled over, and that was my, you know, things on my legs. And seeing like I have really a lot of my accumulated fat is all around the tops of my legs. You know, so yeah, okay. I'm not putting it just on that, but you know, the food has definitely obviously come through the body. There is fat sitting there, you know, and it's not just because I got belted.
Yes.
You know.
Okay, so let me share some thoughts with you that are swimming in my mind based on our conversation so far. Understanding that we're not going to fix everything in this conversation, but my intention is to help you perhaps gain some different insights that can help you along your journey.
Okay.
And some tips that can help you along your journey, insights that make a difference for you. Because what I hear going on is that you are, and have been for a long time, making very sincere efforts, not only to be a good person, to be a good mother, and to get your body where you'd like your body to be. And you definitely get an A for effort. And when it comes to weight and food, things really haven't worked for you. And here you are at 64, and it's frustrating because you know what you want to do and you can't do it. And even when you start to do it, you change course and you go in the other direction. So that's what I want to help you unpack.
Mm-hmm.
So on the one hand, and forgive me if you've heard me say this before, because I know you've listened to the podcast. For all of us, Francesca, food is the great best friend. Food regulates our emotions. Food gives us pleasure. You know this because you're a mom. When every one of your kids was a little infant and they're getting the breast or they're getting the bottle, they could be crying and screaming and out of control. And you give them mama and give them the breast and they're all good to go. And it takes a moment. It's in an instant.
Yeah.
Everything shifts. Why? Feel bad, get food, feel better. But they're not just getting food. They're getting mama. They're getting touch. They're getting love. They're getting security. They're getting warmth. And to an infant, that's all experienced as one. So we all have that memory. And food helps us feel safe. And I'm going to imagine, without, going in and asking a lot of details, growing up the first handful of years of your life in an orphanage and not having a mother in the world and not having your father present,
Yeah. Stop crying. Gosh. Anyway, so good.
Yeah, you're going to need something that it feels that gives you security.
Oh, okay.
Security makes you feel good. It's reliable. Our original way of being protected in this world, feeling safe, warm, loved, secure, taken care of, is our two parents. And in particular, our mother, because that's where you just popped out of.
Yeah.
And so when you were born, that was taken away from you. You didn't have that. Every creature needs to bond. And I'm going to guess there's a certain part of you that bonded with food.
For sure, I think so, yeah.
And I want to tell you something, smart strategy, because we have to bond to something that makes us feel good, that's reliable, that you can have any time just about. And, interesting, when you couldn't have it, when you described to me and you said, first time I've ever said, I would steal food from the teacher's room. That's how much you needed a sense of safety and security, because food gave that to you. And if you didn't have that, well, damn, I'll get it any way I can. If I have to, I'll steal it, because that's how much you need it. So to your child's mind, that's a survival strategy. So part of what we're doing here as I'm speaking is we're looking at your life so we can forgive Francesca and absolve you of any crimes you think you've committed, and absolve you of any sins you think you've committed, because you've committed none. And you had a difficult entry onto the world stage. That's just the truth. I know you don't treat yourself like a victim, and I know you've done your best to just be the best person you can be, and that's not an easy start. So I think there's a part of you that all these years, that's been your connection. You even said once or twice, I don't want to lose my best friend.
Yeah, didn't realize it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and nor should you. Here's the thing, because that's been your most faithful friend. Nothing has been more faithful to you than food in a lot of ways. Not your dad. He wasn't such an easy cookie. And not necessarily your husband. He hasn't been the kind of human who can give you the support that you want. So you're a human being, and you need to feel intimacy and love and connection. And you figured out the best way that you can have that, given the factors in your life, given the fact that here's my arranged marriage, here's the guy I'm with, here's my children, here's how I got to step up as a mom. And you did the absolute best you could. So food has been your best friend. And all I'm saying is, I completely understand. It makes perfect sense. And I would, if I can get into your brain and remove the thought that says, oh, you're somehow bad because you do this and you've done this and you eat food and you overeat, or you eat when you say you don't want to eat. That's because there's a young part of you that is constantly wanting to feel connection, intimacy, security, safety, love, nourishment, pleasure, all of it. And food gives it to you instantly. I wouldn't want you to give that up. And granted, you want to change your body. So it seems like it's a conundrum. So let me say this. Here's what I think is going on for you. We're not just one person. I'm me, I'm Marc, you're you, you're Francesca, I get it. But there's the part of you that's Francesca, the mother. And the mother in you is very different from the wife is you. The wife in you. The wife in you is very different from the person in you who's a friend to your friends. There's Francesca, I don't know what you do for work, but it's what your profession is or what your careers have been. There's the part of you that is a child, a teenager. So oftentimes what happens to us is that there's a part of us that stays in charge of our food choices and our relationship with food, our relationship with our bodies. A part of us that stays in charge of that. That's not the adult in you. That's not the wise woman in you, but it's the kid in you. It's the child in you. Now, especially for you, there's another voice, another persona in us. There's so many. One of the pure voices or personas in us is the rebel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, she's there.
The teenager, the rebel. And what does a teenager do? What does a rebel do? They rebel. And the rebellious part of us is 100% necessary. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's excellent because it's the rebel in us that makes us see the world differently. It's the rebel in us that says no to things that don't work. It's the rebel in us that says, you can't cross this boundary of mine. It's the rebel in us that says, no, this can be done a better way, or I'm not going to hurt others if you tell me to hurt people, or I'm not going to say bad things if you tell me to say bad things. So it's the rebel in us that is sort of a maverick. It's also like an innovator. Now, what happens to a lot of young people is they have all this rebellious energy, so they don't know what to do with it. And they end up just making dumb choices. Well, I'm going to rebel against driving at the speed limit, or I'm going to rebel against, the drinking laws, and I'm going to drink too much. So that's rebelling without a good cause. So for you, you weren't able to express your rebel because your father was bigger and stronger, and he was using his physicality to assert dominance over you. So there's a part of you that never truly got to rebel because you couldn't.
Right.
Now, where does that rebelliousness come out? Comes out with food. It's like, okay, I should eat this, I should eat that. Here's the Weight Watcher rule. Here's the rules of my diet. And as a part of your brain, the adult brain says, yeah, this is going to be good for me. And the rebel in you said, don't tell me what to do. I don't listen to anybody. I'm doing what I do because that's who I am. So here's the thing. I love that voice in you. I want you to be a rebel. But your job from now until the day you die is to start to harness that rebel so she works for you. You don't work for her.
No, okay.
She works for Francesca. We like her. I want you to rebel against dumb rules that don't work. Because you know something? I don't know if classic restriction, I don't want you to restrict. In an ideal world is you're learning right now, starting today, you're learning how to have a nourishing relationship with food that works for you, that works for you. And that's the exploration. And in a strange way, I'm going to say, let's push the reset button. And even though you've had a long history, let's pretend that we're beginning today. Let's pretend that this is a fresh start. Understanding that you have certain tendencies. You like food. Food tastes good. You want to eat food. You also want to have a body that's closer to the body that you want to have. You want to have a weight that feels better to you. What I also hear is you want to take care of yourself with food. You also have a rebel in you. Those things are not mutually exclusive. You also have a child in you that is very attached to food because food makes you feel good. So what I want to see you do is to start to embrace that, yes, I can be a rebel. Homework assignment. I would love for you to write a list of all the ways that you can use the rebel in you in a healthy way.
Oh.
What are the things that you want to rebel against? They could be thoughts. They could be ideas. They could be people that annoy you. They could be, I don't like to watch super violent TV shows or movies. They just give me nightmares.
Yeah.
I rebel against it. I don't want to watch it. I rebel against music that I find to be sexist or demeaning to women or men. I don't like watching videos that are demeaning to any group. So I'm rebelling against a lot of what I see. So that I'm just giving you examples of like, what do you actually rebel against? So you can start to give that rebel more of an outlet. Are there certain friends that you can have conversations with where the healthy rebel in you comes out?
Yeah, I don't kind of do that because I don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah.
You know.
You don't want to rock the boat, but there's a part of you that does, I bet.
Yeah, and I've learned to just say, well, okay, that's your thoughts. Great. You know, it's all good. Let's move on and change subjects. And, you know, so I don't voice it out.
Yeah.
You know.
Isn't it? It's not necessarily about arguing with anybody or trying to prove your point. It's just noticing where you have energy that wants to be counter to what the world is doing, what the media is doing, what certain people around you are doing, and feel good about your position, even if it's silent. Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be on board with that. Yeah, you just said that, but you know something? I'm not going to believe that. I'm going to just smile and say yes, but where you're still in touch with your rebel.
Okay. Yeah, I seem to do that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as I said, I've come to a very beautiful place in my life now. And, you know, that like I've started the voice, and I think that's part of me noticing that the rebel's there. And, you know, and I know, yeah. So yeah.
The more you give that rebel other outlets other than food,
right,
the happier that rebel will be, and the easier it will be to not have that rebel voice turn against the adult in you, turn against the wise woman in you.
Beautiful, yeah.
So when that voice comes up, one of the practices you could do is acknowledge, oh, you know something? I'm wanting to eat this food. And wow, there's this other part of me that wants to do the complete opposite. Ah, that's the rebel in me. That's the beautiful rebel in me. That's the wonderful rebel in me. How else can I channel that rebellious energy right now? And how can I invoke the queen in me, the wise woman in me right now? Because she's the one that wants to be sitting at the head of the table.
Okay.
So all I'm saying is I've just identified the players for you in your head.
Yeah, can I just tell you already, it said, you know, like you're saying, how can I channel the rebel? And I'm going, better not be saying exercise.
Great. Perfect.
Better not be saying, like, go for a walk. So, you know, interesting. Yes, I picked it up. Yeah.
You know, let me put this in other terms. Oftentimes what happens to us, what happens to human beings is we've had a certain upbringing in our life. We've had a certain kind of home life. And what happens is if there's things that we couldn't quite metabolize or digest, or they were difficult, it didn't work for us, it was hard, we kind of bring it with us. And there's a part of us that still lives in our parents' house, your dad and your stepmom's house, even though you don't live there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your job is to start moving out of your dad's house. Part of moving out of your dad's house is to notice when the voices from years past start to creep up. Oh yeah, there's the bulldozer in me coming out. So he said that once to you, probably.
Yeah.
And this is what the mind does. This isn't just you. The mind gets an insult. The mind gets a stress or a trauma or an insult or a hurt, and it grabs it and it repeats it until we own it. So now you've taken that and you own that. So this is a practice. This is a personal growth practice. It's a spiritual practice. That's how you're going to get where you want to go, because you're a queen, you're a wise woman, you've lived a lot of life. And, you know, we got less time to waste, me and you.
Yep.
Okay. We got just less time to waste. So it's a good time to start to notice when I'm repeating the voices that don't belong in there anymore.
Yeah.
The voice that belongs in there is, I'm an amazing woman that's had an incredible life. And yeah, I'm working on creating the body that I want. I'm figuring it out. It's something that hasn't come easy to me. And guess what? It's something that doesn't come easy to hundreds of millions of other people. Ain't easy. So part of the challenge is that you also have the young belief, the teenage belief that when I have the right body, then I'm going to be happy. When I lose this weight, then I'm finally there. When I lose it and keep it off, I'm finally there. And that puts a lot of pressure on you, Francesca. Because a part of your brain is saying, okay, Francesca, for us to like you, for Francesca to like Francesca,
yes,
for Francesca to...
Yeah, I'm the problem.
Yes.
Well, everything's happening here. No one else on the outside is doing anything to me.
Exactly. So we see that, you acknowledge that. And now it's a practice to slowly stop feeding that voice and start to replace it with some other potentially more interesting concepts, i.e., what if this was the body you were going to have for the rest of your life? Who would you be and what would you do and how would you conduct yourself? And how would you go about living your life? You don't have to answer that, but just interesting thought. Actually, let me ask you this question and see if there's an answer for it or answers. When you imagine, okay, I've lost the exact amount of weight I want to lose. I've lost it. And you know something? It's guaranteed. Somehow I got a guarantee from God that it's going to stay off for the rest of my life. What would be different for you other than your weight? How's your life going to change? How's it going to look or feel different?
I think what would be different is the weight that I'm carrying mentally about it.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be lifted. I mean, I'm under no illusion that, you know, you'll still have shit days and you'll be cranky and you'll be angry and you'll have problems, no matter what size you are. But if it was gone, because I see people, I watch people, I like people watching, and I see people who are slender and they walk fast and they're off and they're on a purpose. They're doing their thing. And I think, yeah, that's what I want. I want that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want that. Whereas me, like, you know, get out of the car and it's slow. My husband gets out of the car, he's gone, he's out there, and I'm still figuring out how to, you know, put this leg out, make sure I didn't sprain that leg, and, you know, and yeah. So if I was more agile and less weight, because it is definitely the weight holding me, then I would be, yeah, lighter in here, you know.
Yes. Okay, great. So let's turn that upside down. And the reason we're going to turn it upside down, the reason why we're going to do something different than what you just described is because your approach hasn't worked. Now, what I want to tell you is not only it's not truly your approach, it's an approach that a majority of people take who want to lose weight. They take the approach of, when I lose this weight, then I will feel lighter. Then this internal mental heaviness, I don't like myself, I can't do this. No. It's all going to go away.
No.
Okay. Now, you like to people watch. Me too. I know a lot of mean people who are slender. I know a lot of people that don't get very far and they're slender. I know a lot of people I would not want to be and they're slender. Likewise, I know a lot of people who got a big body and they are light. So what I want to say is I would love for you to change your strategy. And you can, because you're a wise woman. You've been around a while. You've learned a few things. To change your strategy that I'm going to lighten up first. That's what I'm going to focus. I'm going to focus on lightening up. Because a lot of times it's the feeling that we're looking for. And once we have that feeling, you've got it. And yeah, it comes and goes. Obviously, we have bad days. But as you and I begin to lighten up, it becomes easier. In my experience, it actually becomes easier for the body to become lighter.
Wow.
Because you're actually getting the result that you want in the beginning. You feel lighter.
Yeah.
What makes you heavy? What makes one feel heavy is when I have heavy thoughts. I'm no good. I'm not enough. Life sucks. This sucks. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be this person. This body's no good. I won't love myself. All that kind of stuff. That's heavy.
It is. Lined up.
Yeah, you're lighter already. Right? You're a little lighter. Just taking a deep breath.
Yep.
So it's okay that you've been on this journey, because it's a journey that so many people have been on, because we're told that we will feel better, we will love ourselves, and we will feel lighter when we lose weight. But then it creates all this pressure. And then the rebel in you comes out. And then you don't want to lose your best friend, food.
You got it. Yeah.
So
yeah.
You need to be an eater.
Yeah.
And you need to be an eater you need to experience, I think, opinion, that it would be great for you to have the experience called, here's what it's like to be Francesca. Wake up in the morning, and I'm not trying to change my body today. I'm just going to be an eater and feel good about it.
Yeah.
Now, sure, you can say, well, that means, okay, fine. I'm going to eat all the ice cream I want. I'm going to just eat all the ice cream. So that's the teenager in us who thinks she's going to live forever and can do whatever they want and wants to rebel. And sure, you want to try that. Great. It's not going to make you feel good. But learning how to become an eater means I eat and I enjoy my food and I'm present with it.
Yep.
And I'm not in negotiation with it. I'm like, oh, I should eat you. I shouldn't eat you. This is too much. This is not enough.
I know. Yeah.
So what I'm suggesting for you is, 3 months on a no diet. No weighing yourself. Just for 3 months. You could always pick up dieting. You pick up Weight Watchers.
Yeah. Just yeah. What was it? What did you say? I wake up and then today I'm just going to be.
Yeah, I'm just going to be. This is my body. And there's no conditional love here.
Yeah.
You don't call up your children and go, hey, kids, how much you weigh today? Wow, I don't like that. I don't love you. Call me back when you lose the weight. Restrict yourself. Don't eat this. Don't eat that.
Yeah.
And then I'll love you. So essentially, that's what you're saying to you. You wouldn't say that to somebody you love.
Definitely not. No.
So all we're doing in a strange way, Francesca, is you are learning how to be the mother to yourself that you never had, the good mother to yourself, the good parent to yourself that you never had. And a good parent, what do? Their kids cry, their kids fall down, their kids make a mistake. You hug them, you love them up, and you encourage them again. And you stay by their side. and you don't give them all kinds of things that they need to do so they could win your love and approval.
No, it's good. No. Very good. Very good. Okay, find my rebel and go and give it some jobs to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How are you feeling right now?
Been very good, very good. No. Thanks for kind of unraveling that big knot of everything.
Yes.
You know? So just let it go, lighten up, just lighten up.
Lighten up. And you deserve that. You truly deserve that. And part of it is acknowledging to yourself, you know, you've lived a life and you've been on a long, interesting, challenging journey, and you deserve to feel lighter. And yeah, things happen in life, but, you know, certain stresses and anxieties are self-chosen. They're optional.
Yeah.
So it's about you becoming your best friend, keeping food. I want food to be your best friend. Best friends treat us well. We treat them well.
Mm.
And yeah, you know, wake up in the morning, have your breakfast, be present, eat it, love it, enjoy it. Have a snack if you have a snack, have your lunch, eat your dinner. You know, good choices for yourself. And you know something, you want to have a dessert, have a dessert. And be present when you eat it. Do you tend to be a fast eater, moderate eater, slow eater?
Oh no, very fast, and I don't even taste it. So I've doing a few little things from your book is just slow down. I take breath before because when I'm gutsing and I'm just, you know, I think, well, stop. It's right here. It's not going anywhere. You know, it's not going anywhere. Just let's just take a drink, sit down, you know. So I'm trying to be more present, you know, working on that.
Yes, I'm so glad to hear that. And I want to remind you, it's a practice because eating fast is a habit that I find a majority of the populations that I've worked with have that habit. I find more people than not are fast eaters. And what happens is when I'm a fast eater, I can't taste my food. I can't receive pleasure. And it disturbs my appetite regulation mechanism because the brain isn't taking in sensation. And when the brain can't take in the sensation of taste and hunger, it just goes, I'm hungry. I don't remember eating anything.
Yeah, well, the thing is too, also for me, is that get it down, no one's seen it, it's done. You know, so it's that sneaky thing. It's that stealing thing again.
Love it. So that's where we're back to stealing food. So you eating food is not a crime. No. There's a part of you, still an old part of you, that equates eating with being a crime.
Well, yes. Yeah.
Because what does a good criminal do? You don't commit your crime so everybody can see it in broad daylight. A smart criminal, you do when nobody's looking.
That's right. Yep. Yep. Yep.
So your job, your practice is to take food out of the realm of I'm a criminal if I eat this or eat that or eat too much. And eating is a criminal act to eating is a beautiful act. Eating is a holy act. Eating is an act of wonderful survival. The way we're designed, food is pleasurable. It's wonderful. And we're designed to be an eater. So you're teaching yourself that right now.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. No, I'm very, very grateful to have the awareness of it, which is lovely because I can pick myself up and think, oh, right, I'm gutsing. It's like, okay, slow down. It's not going anywhere, you know. So
when this podcast comes out, and if you watch it, I want you to notice the difference between you at the beginning of the session
really?
And you at the end.
Okay.
Your voice is different. Your face is different. Your intonation is different. Your speed is different. you have allowed yourself to relax around this subject, and you're more in your body.
Yeah. Yes, that's something I'm very much of a, but I don't, like I say, I said to one of my friends, probably about 15 years ago, I said, and he knew me from when young, and I said to him, why didn't you tell me I was putting all this weight on? And he looked at me and he says, you know what, I don't see you fat. I don't see your body.
Mm.
And I'm going, well, that doesn't help me.
So understood. And for now on, it's not how did I get here? It's more of, this is me. This is Francesca. Here's where I want to go.
Yeah.
I'm going in the direction of a healthy, good relationship with food, where I feel nourished, where I'm not fighting food, where food is not a crime, where I can begin to live in this body as it is. Do I want to change it? Sure. But something I want to just call a little time out so I can let my system relax and catch up. So the guy with the belt in your head is not belting you.
Yeah.
And you are completely capable and equipped to do that, to just start to liberate yourself. And the good news is it's fun work.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes. It's good. It's been lovely. Thank you very much.
Francesca, thank you. And I really mean when I say it that you have what it takes to get where you want to go. And I think step one here is to push the reset button on your journey, where you're starting the journey from a place of just being kind to yourself, being compassionate towards yourself, and slowly removing the conditions that you've placed on your self-acceptance. You always ask yourself, if I say this to me, would I say it to one of my kids?
No, that's right. No, definitely not.
I so appreciate our conversation today.
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very, very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you benefited, and take care, my friends.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care, and remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.